Right, guys, so on this video we're just going to see how we can create our DB connection, database connection, so it will be connected to the server. First thing first we have to do is just go to the project, right click, then just go to NuGet packages. We just have to add MySQL client or MySQL to our project. So I'm just going to say MySQL, and we're just going to use MySQL data. So just gonna say, where is this thing? MySQL. This is for the web. Okay, so I think this is it. Just select this. I hope so. Or we simply have to import it, then we just let it work. But let's just install it. Let's see if that is what we need. It should be able to think that is what we will need. Yeah. Okay. Right, so whilst we have this, yeah, it will just install. Yeah, let's go to the class and let's create a new class, and this class is going to be called DB connection. So I'm just going to say DB connection, just like this. Click on add. That is perfect. So we have DB connection here, and what I'm going to import first is I'm just going to say import MySQL dot data. Oh, come on. Dot MySQL client, just like this. So just gonna first declare a public connection from MySQL connection. So just gonna say public shared, because we're just gonna use it across some forms. So just gonna say public shared connect as new MySQL connection, and basically this connection should be a string, and this string is going to be from our server. So I'm just going to say server. Yeah, so the server is going to be yeah, so in here just going to say local host, and after this we say let's use this guy instead. Say user is going to be root, then we set a password, but make sure you end it with a semicolon as well. So we set the password equal to none, since we don't have any password for our database. We're just going to say database, and that is where you will add your database name. This is really important. So in this case, I renamed mine to VPN DB. You'll just have to remember, and that name is not any fancy name, but it's rather the name you've given to this guy. That is it. So you just have to make sure you remember. Now let's open a connection. So I'm just going to declare a public function, then I called it open, and this is going to be as MySQL connection. Yeah, perfect. So what I'm going to do here is use the try catch exception to check if connection is done or not. So I'm just going to say connection connect.open. That means I have opened the connection port. If not, an exception should thrown, and this exception should be message box, and it's going to be ex.message, just like this. And after everything, we are working within a function, so we have to return. So I'm just going to say return connection or connect. Yeah, it is really good. So just gonna copy this. I'm too lazy to type. Then I come down here, then I say this is going to be close. and I'm just going to say close for here. I think it's done. Yeah, just gonna call the connect and you do all those kind of stuffs. So this is how we basically add up a connection, and it's really perfect now. Now let's try to use the login system to see if it actually works, because we want the user to log in if the user really has a connection here. So sorry, I'm just going to create another class. Oh, come on, here. And this class is going to be called functions. So this is basically going to contain all the functions we want to use. So I'm just going to create a public shared sub called access login. Since we will be using since we will be calling this login across some forms, so I'm just going to say dim command as new MySQL command, just like this. And this command is going to be an execution command. So before we use this MySQL command, we just have to import import sql.data.mysql client. So we just have to say, let's select something called the username, right? So we're just going to select the username and also password. Then we say from. Then we call the name of the table, that is we are calling from users, just like this. Then we say where. Then we say username is equal to something. So here, let's do something here. I just want to explain something to you. When you go to the users, I don't have username and password. I only have username and pass. So you just have to make sure you know what you are doing. So I'm just going to say username and pass. Now I have to sorry, I have to assign them to this. So I'm just going to say at username, right? So at username and password equal to at password. So instead of password, I'm just going to say pass, since I'm using password. So I'm just going to say pass, just to get this in remembrance. Good. So whilst we are done with this, we simply have to call the DB connection, then we connect exactly just like this. Now whilst we are done with this, we just have to use some commands. So we're just going to say command dot parameters dot add. Then we just have to use the parameters we stated. So we're just going to say the parameter of at username should be assigned to something, and that is going to be my SQL DB type. Yes, and this is going to be from the var character. And from here, we're just going to say dot value, the value of it should be equal to something. And now we have our form created, our page called the login created here. So we're gonna give these some names. So let's go here. Let's say this is gonna be called txt user name. This is gonna be txt password. Yep. Then we say this is gonna be btn login. Then this is gonna be btn create account. Then this is going to be btn forget password. Btn forgot password. Perfect. So whilst we have these done, just save this. Now let's see the exception we have here. think it's the connection. Just don't worry about that. Let's go back to the function here. And now I just want to say my main, I think is the FRM main dot, then we call CTL login. Since we have the login in the CTL login 1 dot txt username dot text, just like this. And we just want to copy the same thing, just paste it here. This is going to be the pass, so just going to say txt password dot text. Perfect. Now let's make some declarations here. Dim adapter as new MySQL data adapter, and this data adapter is going to be from the command. Okay, now just going to say dim table as new data table. Yep. All right, then we say adapter dot fill, and it's just going to fill the table. Perfect. Now let's use some if statements here. So if table dot rows dot count, the count of the table, is equal to 0, then we simply want to say with I just want to use some functions here just to tell the user that okay, you have successfully logged in or you have not logged in. So here then we just want to say if the count equals 0, then we say let's throw some error, or let's say maybe we're just gonna say msg box dot tell you that maybe maybe error something happened, you know, or you can just say failed to login. Yeah, I mean failed to login is good, so we're just gonna say failed to login, just like this. Then we use else here. Now we just have to make restrictions. No, I don't want to make restrictions because you guys can do that. So you know, I believe in you and I know you guys can do that, and that really looks quite awesome. So else we just have to say for frm main dot ctl, that is going to be login 1 dot send to back. But before we do that, we're just going to pop up a message telling the person that logged logged in successfully. All right, yeah, then this really happens. This is very, very interesting. Yeah, so that is what I'm trying to say here, and I really think I think you have really understand what I'm trying to say here, and it is a very, very good suggestion, you know, very, very good things to do. Right, so let's see what we can do from here if we want to call this login function for it to access the login. So we just have to go to the login design here, then on this button click, we're just gonna say functions dot login, access login, just like this. So let's try it once again. Okay, so I click on the login, then so there should be an error to be thrown because It is saying you don't you have an error in your SQL syntax. Check your password equals to password where username equals to username and pass equals to pass at the line 1. So that should be sorry. Let me do a hard reload and see. Let me just try and add the details from the dashboard. That is for the users. That is user 1 and password is user. Just gonna click on login. Just gonna say user 1 user. Okay, so an exception is really throwing here, and that is coming from the Marial server version, and it's telling us pass equals pass. So let's go there and let's see what is really happening here. Let's go back to the functions. So yeah, so this is actually the problem we have here. So we have user pass from users. Select this. Oh, okay, so we have to add one of these just to close this line, right? So all these checks you have to do, otherwise it will just create a lot of problems for you, and at the end of the day, you will end up messing up all your project. So you simply have to make sure everything is done. So I'm just gonna say that is user 1 and user as the password. Okay, another error. So syntax near okay, from users where username equals to user 1 and password equals to pass as line 1. So let's see what the problem here is. Okay, select username and username password from user where username is equal to username and password equals to pass. So what is the problem here? Because I think that is what I have done and there is no problem or whatsoever. Yeah, select username, then we select the password. Yeah. Oh, okay, so we don't have to add this guy. That is very important. So users where username equals to the username and pass equals to password. So we just assign them here. Let's just test it once again. Just want to make sure that login is really working perfectly fine. Right, so there is another syntax again. So let's check the last possibility fixes. So I'm gonna go here and I'm just gonna use the insert. Then I come down. No, let's go to the users. Then you're just gonna click on this. So this is selecting from users, right? So just copy that. Then we go to our projects here. Then let's say select username. So I'm just gonna paste this here. Then I say user name pass as I have it. So from users where this username equals to this and this pass equals to this, then we open the connection. Yeah. Okay. So basically we should be able to log in because this is what we have done so far, and Yeah, we should be able to log in. Let's try it for the last one. Okay, so there you go. Now we are logged in successfully, and you see, yeah, let's try a wrong password or whatsoever, and it's gonna tell you failed to log in. So meaning our database is really connected successfully. Now we can log in with a user and click on login, and it's successfully logged in. Perfect. Okay, this is really cool and interesting. On our next video, we're just going to see how we can fetch all servers which are being added to the database. I mean, from servers, we don't have a server here, but we can really choose from the VPN links, and all those links is gonna be listed up here, right? Yeah, that is what we're gonna do. So we're just gonna add up some links, then it's just gonna add up some codes, then it's fetched from the database from here. It's just gonna search from the database from this table, and we get it here. So I can really click on this, then I'll just say copy. So just want to copy this, maybe multiple times, do all that. So I'm just gonna do this, just say copy, just to get some fair idea of what we have here. So we should be able to get 4 links when we are working on it on our next video. So until then, have a nice day, and let's meet on our next video to fetch the data into the list. Have a nice day, and Ikesoft Original is out. Thank you. Bye.